Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ben and Morey Show! Here come your hosts, Ben and Morey! Everybody doing well tonight? Yeah? Okay. We're excited to be here. It's our fourth season. We started our first season and people said, that sounds great. We're happy for you. Started our second season. They were like, awesome, guys. Way to go, man.
Wow,
I'm going to make it out one of these days. Started our third season, had a lot of momentum there. And we told people we were starting our fourth season. And one person that I told said, I just think it's so neat that you guys are still doing this.
Yeah. Really appreciate that, guys. In fact, this is, we ended our third season mid-December. Starting back now. We've been off this is the longest stretch that we've ever been off. And if you guys did not notice one way or the other, we just want you to know that that's hurtful.
That hurts.
All right? Oh, you guys been off for 3.5 months?
Yeah, I thought you were still doing it.
No, I was just, I didn't know because I was living my life. But
it was a good off season.
It was a good off season. Great off season. Hey, real quick, by the way, who's been to the show before? Here? Okay. Who has not been to the show before? Okay. I don't know what I'm going to do with that information, but that's good to know. No, we had it's just, demographics. No, we had a fun off season. I hope you guys had a nice winter. We were busy, worked on a lot with the show, and hopefully you'll see it this season. One thing I wanted to bring up was Oz Arts, if any of you are familiar with that in town. They had a fundraiser in sort of a thing where they invite a bunch of speakers to a table, and someone buys the table, and you lead a talk. And Morey and I got invited, I think in January it was, or February, to a table, to this fundraiser. And you got to pay, a pretty penny to do this thing. And we found out that our table at this Oz fundraiser was purchased by, count it, not 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5 women.
5 women. And so we said, well, we're not surprised. And so, come the night of Conversations at Oz, we got a little dolled up.
Yeah.
Ben brushed his hair.
Yeah.
I brushed his hair. And I put on 5 thick swipes of deodorant.
That's right.
And we drive ourselves out to Oz Arts, which is far away.
Yeah.
And
it's near
we
prison.
We get there. It's near the prison. We get there and we're feeling pretty smooth.
Oh my God, we were ecstatic.
I have a cocktail.
Had a couple cocktails.
And then another. Yeah.
I had on silk underwear, and we couldn't have been more confident. We kind of, we walked in. We were like,
Yeah, and we got to our table, and it turns out it is 5 married women. So here we are with the married women.
Yeah, right there.
Let me tell you, these ladies loved their husbands.
Yeah.
And hey, by the way, while we're all here, look at Ben's eyes in this picture. Let's lay off the paint chips, Ben. So that was fun.
That was very fun. But we did. They were all from Nashville, but we knew that they were married, but we were thinking maybe we'll cuckold.
Yeah.
And we kept referring to them as the Brentwood Babes.
Yeah.
And we said it to their face, we're like, you guys Brentwood Babes, and they hated that.
Yeah.
So
a couple of them were doctors. It was screwed up.
I mean,
but anyway, we are excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to be here.
We're
excited you're here.
We got a great show tonight. We've got Jenny Littleton, actress in town. We're really excited.
Doyle Debbie Show. We've also got Zach Richardson here. He is an urban shepherd, Nashville Chew Crew. Sorry, and we got a couple baby lambs here.
Yeah.
That we're gonna bring out. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. So it's gonna be a good show. Zach taught us. You were talking to Zach and.
Yeah. So we wanted to get Zach on for a while because this is and you guys will see it's a really fun idea that he has. And when I was we were trying to get him on the show, I called him and I said, so you're gonna bring, so you got some sheep you're gonna bring on. And he said, no, well, I have some lambs. And I said, well, what's the difference between a lamb and a a sheep. And he said, well, lambs.
Don't laugh.
Minimal brain activity.
Yeah.
So he said, well, as you guys know, and I didn't know, he said, well, a lamb is a baby sheep.
Baby sheep.
And then he said, but it's not sheep. I have ewes. And I said, what the?
Yeah.
Where do you get off? And so I went home. I was all bent out of shape. I went to our study that we have at our house, and and I got out my old Animal Kingdom book from my research days at the zoo, and I looked. And we keep it in our study, and and yes, animals. It's not just a sheep. They have different names: male, female, young, flock, and so there was. So maybe you guys knew this, but I don't want to be presumptuous. There are other animals. So, for instance, a bee. It's not just called a bee across the board. A female bee is known as the worker bee.
So you have the queen bee and all of her workers.
But then you have the male bee, who is a drone, which I find kind of surprising because, with humans, yes, here this joke is going. The men are kind of the workers and the women are kind of the drones. Am I right?
The women are also leaving.
Yeah.
Just a joke. And then with cows, we got one more example here. With cows, similar thing. The female cow is a cow.
Right.
The male cow is a bull, and then you have a steer, which drives the cow and the bull home to the barn to make a calf.
Yeah. Just count it. One person. That guy liked that joke.
I think we could have ended on the bee joke there.
Yeah.
But it is moving on swiftly. It is exciting to have Jenny here tonight because truly she is. Has anybody seen the Doyle and Debbie Show in town? Yeah. If you haven't seen it, you have to see it. It's the funniest show in town. Funnier than this one by far. Funnier than any show. Truly. And when I was convincing Ben to move to Nashville, I told him, check out the Doyle and Debbie Show here. We could be like them. We could have a show every week. They do it on Tuesday nights. We do it on Thursday nights. Really followed in their footsteps.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have Jenny on. And it's also a great chance, now that it's our 4th season, to, look back and say, we wanted to be like the Doyle and Debbie Show. What are our goals now?
Yeah, it's a good time to revisit our goals and take a look at the future. We've got 12 shows ahead of ourselves. Let's revisit our goals. So we sat down in our study, and we thought we would just share for you guys.
Put together some goals for the season, long-term goals.
So for instance, when I came out here about 2 years ago, it was, we want the Ben and Morey Show to be like the Doyle and Debbie Show, a local comedy show. But we got to be honest with you, folks. We're thinking bigger now, all right? We're thinking national, okay?
We're thinking cash prizes.
All right. Truth be told, we want to be like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
We think
that's kind of the new format we're going for.
Yeah.
Some people say it's kind of straying from what why we started the show.
Yeah, but
it's our goal now.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to laugh.
No, that's
we're
fine.
Serious. Next goal, and this is an obvious one. We want to grow our audience, and it's confusing. We're not talking about more people in the audience.
Absolutely not.
We're talking about our audience growing
physically.
Yeah. We want some swelling among our audience members.
It's an old theater trick, all right? You come in, you look in the theater, it seems like there are a lot of people there. Not a lot of people, a lot of fatties, all right? So that's what we need.
So no more light beer, and you can have 4 beers now, and we're also serving bacon strips in back. So we want you guys to swell.
All right. No, but in all seriousness, we do want to grow our audience. This has been fun. It's been a nice hobby, but we want to make a little
cash,
a little scratch. All right. So we're trying to actually grow this show monetarily.
Sure.
So we want to sell shirts. All right. We want to fill seats. I've already taken a second job. Okay.
Ben is a streetwalker.
That's right. First month on the job. I love it. All right. It's different. It's degrading, but I like it. Yeah.
We also, this is a serious one. We want to improve the quality of the show. For instance, we heard if you're sitting on the back row, it can be a little hard to see because this theater is basically a classroom. And so we built these platforms. Did anybody notice?
Platforms?
New platforms? Yeah, not bad. So we built the platforms. We tested them out the other day. Turns out it doesn't help visibility very much.
Yeah, not at all.
So now the people on the back row, we have a new goal for them. We're trying to figure out some alternative entertainment for them.
Yeah.
Get to know one another.
Yeah. Play charades.
Yeah.
Certainly talk to one another, but we're
Yeah.
sorry that you can't see.
Maybe go see a movie on Thursday nights or something.
This is just kind of a personal goal. Put a down payment on a house.
That's just one of Ben's goals.
Yeah, but doesn't mean I can't tell you guys.
Another goal, we've achieved some of our goals. We built a website in the off season.
Yeah.
New goal: get people to go to the website.
Mm-hmm.
It's benandmoreyshow.com, but just to be safe, if you type in "help is on the way," it redirects.
Redirects, yeah.
So people were googling that.
So we got goals.
Yeah, we got goals.
What else?
April Fool's Day is coming.
April Fool's is coming up. You guys like April Fool's Day? Yeah, everyone does. They like a good prank. It's on Saturday, and the thing about April Fool's Day is it's fun, but it's easy to get carried away, to maybe cross the line. And luckily, you guys are in a house of comedy, am I right? And so
we can kind of advise you, hey, what's inappropriate, what's appropriate. We've made some inappropriate jokes up here before, and it's no fun.
And so if you're mulling in your head what you want to do for April Fool's Day, we can tell you whether it's good or bad. So here, we brought up a couple situations.
Yeah.
If you'll indulge us, we'll tell you, Ben and Morey, we'll tell you, hey, good, not good. First one, saran wrap a car. It's a classic, right? That's
It's wasteful.
It's wasteful. It's not eco-friendly. It'll take up a lot of your time.
It's 2017. We got to be a little more mindful of the environment.
That's inappropriate.
Yeah.
All right, mindful of the environment. But if you posted a car, we think that's actually
that's actually hilarious.
Good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff.
Nothing wasteful about that. Now, how about a prank call to 911? Well, that's somebody could get hurt. That's using valuable resources. That's inappropriate.
Yeah, an ambulance comes. That costs money.
Right.
It's not good.
It's not a good joke. How about a prank call to your high school girlfriend? Tell her you still have feelings. Well, that's not a prank.
That's not a prank.
I miss you, Wanda.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. In the internet age, a great prank. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this one, but there are a lot of email signups.
Right.
Spam your friend. Hey, you got a liberal buddy? Sign him up on Trump.com. Oh man,
it's a classic prank.
That's an appropriate joke. He can unsubscribe, but he'll get angry for a sec. He'll be like, Josh, why'd you do that? But I'll tell you what's not appropriate: signing him up for Men's Warehouse. All right.
That's fucked up. They send a lot of emails.
Yeah.
5, 6 a day. New discount on pants. I mean, oh my God. People get hurt.
Over the line.
Yeah, over the line. Hey, your buddy's asleep. You put his hand in warm water. Maybe he pees his pants. That's a classic one. Am I right?
That's a fun joke. Hey, pee is 99% water. I'll drink it. Who cares? Go for it.
Ben will drink it. Ben kept trying that one, and I said, don't say that. He said it. But so that one's appropriate. Your buddy's asleep. You submerge him in water.
Ooh, too far.
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate.
Right? I think we all see what's wrong with that, right?
Appreciate the dedication, but it's
Yeah.
inappropriate.
Yeah.
A lot of us youngsters here, we got our parents are easy targets. They're very vulnerable.
Very vulnerable.
It's the first thing you think is I'm gonna get my parents. Calling your mother and telling her, hey mom, I'm gonna be a father. Right, your reaction. It's not appropriate.
What if she faints? Yeah.
She can faint, hit her
faint.
temple, dead. All right. You don't.
Be mindful of the temple.
All right. But call your mother and say, hey, can't wait to be an uncle.
That's clever. Now your bro's in trouble.
That's right.
Deflect the blame. Another one. Tell your mom, hey mom, I got a new tattoo. That's okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
real.
okay.
All right.
It's just ink. She'll be upset, but she'll get over it.
Well, it's not real.
What's not real?
The tattoo.
Right. It's a prank. It's
Yeah.
April Fools. So I would clear that up. Pull a prank on your parents. Tell them, hey guys, I'm going to start a comedy show. That's not okay. No parent wants to hear that.
Don't do that. All right.
I don't care if it's
paid
April
for a
Fools.
private education.
Yeah. Easter, just don't do it.
Well.
So with that, I think we'll be right back with Jenny Littleton.
Jenny Littleton, thank you.
It's a great time to go get a beer.
We're excited for our first guest this evening. So put your hands together for local actress Jenny Littleton.
Hello, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny, how are you? Watch your step there. Hey.
Wow.
How are you,
Someone
Jenny?
likes you.
Just one.
Just one. Well, one is all it takes. How are you, Jenny?
Well, I got a little nervous back there.
You seem a little out of breath.
I know. I drank my beer really fast.
Yeah, don't you?
I drank it really fast. I was like, I shouldn't bring that out there. And then I drank it really fast, and then I thought, I shouldn't have drank that really fast.
People always have to get drunk before they come on the show. It's really a little insulting. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here. Glad you're buzzed.
Me too.
So,
And as we say, don't, because and we're gonna say it a lot this season. Don't be nervous, because again, not a real talk show.
That's
show.
right. That's right.
if they're not in here, they're not seeing it.
Yep.
That's right.
People have talked about live streaming, and we were like, what? No.
Yeah.
No.
Hey.
I know.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. So you as we said, we really liked you for your work with the Doyle and Debbie Show, and see, we got some fans here. How long?
How many people have seen the Doyle and Debbie Show? Hey,
go.
how many people have not seen the Doyle and Debbie Show?
Show yourself.
I'm telling you this.
We have a show Tuesday.
This guy that I work with saw it, and I would agree with him. He said, if you go see it and it's not the funniest thing you've ever seen, then I will pay for your ticket. It's so great.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
That was the Doyle.
He was drunk too.
But Jenny, for those who haven't seen the Doyle and Debbie Show, can you just give a quick synopsis of what it is?
Well, it's based on a duo. The Doyle is trying to revive his country music career, and he's just had a series of failures, and so I'm his third Debbie. He's trying to make a comeback, and he's trying to use his third Debbie to make that comeback, and you just kind of watch it. You watch our relationship, and then you watch it kind of fall apart through song and dialogue. And he wrote it. Somebody described it, some critic, as the Grand Ole Opry on acid, and I thought that's pretty good. And the other one was something, I'm not going to get this right, but it was like the country music, some version of Spinal Tap, and that would be because we're not what we think we are when we come out there. So
Right. People have described us as Doyle and Debbie on acid.
Yeah.
So we're kind of one more layer there.
Oh, which one's Debbie? It's funny that I pointed to you when I said that. Which
There's
one's
no
Debbie?
question about that. Yeah. I'm glad.
Some people say about our show, just go on acid. It'll improve the
It
environment.
can't get worse.
Well, it is funny, to Morey's point about this being one of the funniest shows. It was interesting to me. The first time I went, a buddy of ours took me there, and there's a very distinct, outside 440 crowd that goes to it. Maybe people from the country, is that safe to say?
That come see the show?
Yeah.
That are from the country?
They're from Donaldson.
Oh, what? Gosh. I didn't know.
And they like it, I think, because they see the parody in it, and they find it. They just love the country aspect of it. And I was watching it, and I was like, this is hilariously written comedy. It's like very
Satire.
It's very good satire.
Well, and the thing
so it
is,
appeals to two
And
very
what are all
different-
these country
exactly.
people then?
It appeals to people who I mean, we've yet to really. We have offended people, I think, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm thinking of those gigs, but there is a song, like our patriotic song is "God Loves America Best." Well, that's satire, but we do occasionally get people go, "Woo!" and when they do, I always just allow myself when we do the bow after to just start laughing when my head's up. But I look at it. That's actually, that's some of my family would be.
Right.
So I just go, that's okay. We're making them laugh throughout, and some people get it for this. They get the satire, and some people maybe don't get that part as
Right.
much, and they're getting something else though,
And then they're going to drive home to Donaldson and
right.
call it a night.
I don't know about
Well,
that.
that was kind of that example you gave. God loves you. I mean, that's a good one. But do you also have? Am I getting the name of this song correct? Keep me knocked up and pregnant.
Barefoot and pregnant.
Barefoot.
Keep me barefoot and pregnant. And then the next lyric of the line is.
Just keep me barefoot and pregnant. That's all I want to be. Just keep me barefoot and pregnant.
Keep me knocked up and cooking.
Yeah, y'all know it better than I do.
Yeah.
Just knocked up and cooking. Yeah, sure.
Well,
And when,
Go ahead.
there's a lot of that, and I ain't no homo, but man, you sure look good to me.
Oh, I love that one.
And it's, but I love it because that happens, where it's just fingers pointing, but the line is, I ain't no homo, but man, you sure look good to me. I ain't no homo. I have a wife and family, and it's kind of like that. I think when he wrote that, somebody was wagging fingers at somebody and then was caught.
we get a lot of wagging fingers.
Do you?
Oh my God, yeah. I think we're constantly flirting the line. I ain't no homo, but Ben. And well, another thing is we live together with a third person, not just Ben and I. But people hear that and I think they go, oh, they're partners.
Well, I did back when I was watching.
Did you really?
No, sort of. I did. I did. You kept talking about your study, and I was like,
It's all made up. It's all made up. I'm moving out this weekend. By the way.
Yeah.
No joke. I'm serious. I'm moving out.
I'm pissed. But another thing that I really like about the Doyle and Debbie Show, and I know it's like talking about a friend that you guys have when the other person doesn't know the friend. Sorry for those of you. I guess you got to go see it now. Tuesdays,
Station Inn. If you don't know where the Station Inn is, it's in the Gulch. It's the one thing that looks like it doesn't belong down there anymore. But it's 7. It's over by 8:30, 8:35. So it's an early night.
But I love that your character, Debbie, is from East Tennessee, and she went to a fictional college, the Smoky Mountains Community College, and their motto is, "We can see your future from here."
Yeah.
That really struck a chord with Ben.
Oh man, I love it.
I like that too. Yeah, I like that.
And we won't talk only about the Doyle and Debbie Show, but how long have you been doing it on Tuesdays?
Almost 11 years. It'll be 11 years in June, and So we started thinking it was when he asked me to do it. He said, "I'm writing this thing," and then he would come over, and I realize now, he says, "I was writing it for you." I don't know if that's really true or not, but there were a lot of stupid things that I said that later sort of seemed to appear in the script. And I thought, oh, I don't know if that was something dumb that I said, talking about Patsy Cline or whatever. But we thought it was just going to be for maybe 3 weeks or a month at Bongo Java. And then it went over pretty good, and so we did it again, and then we were there, I think we were there a year, but we didn't do constant. And then we got in the Station Inn because it was a bigger venue. And again, I didn't know that it would last, but I'm glad that it did. And I've had people say, early on, and I used to be so self-conscious, say, "Oh, you won't be able to keep doing this very long, because you're getting older." And I was pretty sure that they were right. And then for some reason, it's like, I don't know. People are excusing the fact that I am a person that actually ages.
Right. And you're not self-conscious about your age.
I'm not. I'm 44. I'll be 45 in
45.
July.
She's 44.
That's fine.
She doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Can I-
11 years. Do you know how many shows that is?
I don't, because we've. I wish I did, but I don't. We did a run in Chicago for 8 months, and that was 8 shows a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 8 shows a week, and
There are only
sometimes
7 days in a week, so you're lying to us.
No. We doubled up. We doubled up. We did.
Okay.
Yeah. And we flew home to the Station Inn, and so sometimes we were filling up our week in Chicago at that theater, and flying home and doing a show at the Station Inn, and then flying back, and it was crazy.
Now the
I don't know
difference,
how we survived that, actually.
the difference between your show and our show is Doyle and Debbie show is scripted.
Mhm,
Ours
right.
is we're
That's
making
a
this
lot
up.
harder what you do.
But do you ever? I mean, do you ever, despite the fact that it's scripted, do you ever just kind of get sick of your partner?
No. Well, I mean, we've had.
Have y'all tussled?
Yes,
Do you
but
think
not.
some person's the real owner of the show? A clear front runner.
Go ahead.
He is because he wrote it. So, and he's the Doyle. Which one of you is the Debbie?
I'm the Debbie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah.
No,
We know
but
that.
yeah, that's the great thing is he's kind of like a big brother now. Big weird brother.
Right.
But yeah, it's
a good relationship.
It's a good relationship, and the guy that plays the buddy character, we have
Right.
two actually. One that's normally the buddy character, and then there's one that comes on and does it sometimes. I mean, I've known him for years doing theater with him. It's like when we go on the road, it's them and our sound guy. So it's one gal and three guys, and they're all the same age. I think they're all like 61 or 60 or whatever, but they're all the same age, and they're just like my big brothers. It's wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you have big brothers growing up?
I had one. Yep.
And you're from where?
Clarksville,
Clarksville.
Tennessee. Anybody from Clarksville? No.
That's outside the 440. We have a very.
Because you said you thought you were gonna visit, and I said don't or why.
Yeah, day trip.
Yeah.
Ben likes to go to random places.
That's not one that you necessarily need to visit.
There was one. What was that place in Iowa that you really want to go to?
Never been to Iowa.
But you wanted to go. I'll think of it.
All right.
Don't worry about it. We digress. What else do you do in town?
I teach fitness, so I don't know if any of you are YMCA members, but so I teach at the Margaret Maddox Y. I teach ballet sculpt and water aerobics, and I teach at the Vandy Rec Center ballet sculpt and cardio dance. And then at the Tennessee Prison for Women, I volunteer and teach whatever kind of fitness I feel like teaching them that day. And then usually we finish up with like I give them a writing prompt or something. But
What is ballet sculpt?
it's high repetition, low weight.
Ooh, here she goes. She's
Well,
excited
it's
about
just, there's those bar classes out there.
Sure.
You've seen those. Well, it's kind of like that, but not. Those are really, you do these little teeny tiny movements that hurt really bad. And mine's kind of like that, except the movements are bigger and they hurt really bad. So, but it's a good workout. So if you are a Margaret Maddox YMCA member, or even if you're just a citywide, you can just come on down and take a class.
Now, may I ask you, you've spent a lot of your life on stage.
Yep.
In theater.
Started when I was 7, actually.
Wow.
Wow.
That's my first play, Fiddler on the Roof. Yeah.
I was an owl in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, is there an owl, or they just added that
They
for
added
you?
that.
Like the lobster.
Yeah, well but my next role, big step up, I was in Hansel and Gretel, Mr. Pickles.
Oh, there was a Mr. Pickles in
Yeah,
Hansel.
he was the snooty English butler, and I had a big gap in my teeth, and
Oh,
it was
let's hear
hard
your
to say
English.
words.
Let me hear your English dialect. Can you do an English dialect, a British dialect? Oh.
I think that's a no.
But what we're going to say is we have not been. This is still kind of an early foray for us into being on stage, and our parents and people who see the show a lot, they say you guys should
Mostly
get
our
some.
parents.
Mostly mom, and they say you should get some stage, some acting lessons, someone to teach you stage presence, and then we'll watch. Video, and I'll say a lot, and
Ben fidgets with his belt.
I'm
and
always touching my inner
I'm
leg.
shifting my weight all the time. Sometimes I'll touch his inner leg.
Yeah.
I mean, you see things that you don't remember, It's,
So do you have any, given that you're an experienced thespian, what can we got a long 12 shows ahead of us, what can we do to improve?
Well, you can always put your hands in your pockets. I noticed that you put your hands in your pockets.
I did have my hands in my pockets.
Yeah.
And then I thought
you
weird.
did this thing. You did like at one point you did that. And
That's a big no-no.
That's a big. Don't do that.
Not natural.
No. That was But you can you could always put them. The meanest thing you can say to an actor actually right before you go on stage is, don't think about your hands, because and I've had that somebody play a joke on me and say that, because that is your thing when you're on stage is well, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
So
Also in life.
yeah.
I'll tell you a move that I do a lot that I think is a little corny. I'll say I'm good. I put one hand in my pocket and I gesture like this.
Sure, that's not corny.
This looks
that's
stupid.
Good. No, that's good. No, that's good. Now, if you have your that's good. I think
It's
that's
kind of
good.
like I don't know what
That's
I'm
good.
saying, but
That's all right.
here he goes.
And to your point about, because I was telling the truth about my inner leg, I'll put my hand, I'll do that, but you'll just see me doing that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not good. Well,
There are adults here, baby.
I need another beer. If you serve hard liquor here, people won't care what you're doing with your hands. You can, like as Debbie, I kind of smack my side. So like if you just get in a place where you don't know what to do, just
Okay.
Don't give him that advice.
yeah. No, I want to see that later. When you start panicking, I just want to see that.
Yeah.
Or you can clog. I do that.
What about blocking? Should I look at the crowd? I don't like looking.
You don't like looking at the crowd? Just don't look at your hands. Yeah.
Okay.
And don't look at your inner thigh.
Do you ever rewrite the Doyle and Debbie Show?
No, not on purpose. There's a line in there that I messed up one time. It's the most embarrassing thing to mess up, which is Debbie says in a very serious song, which is called For the Children, she goes into a recitation and says, I believe in the 3 R's. Our children are our future. Well, I said, I don't know why I blanked out. I think somebody maybe laughed in the audience and it distracted me, but I said, I believe in the 3 R's. Our children are precious. I don't know why.
Oh, that's great.
And I could feel Bruce like next to me just like, it's like, that's not even, I mean, that was so bad. That's not even an R word. Why did I do that? But yeah, every now and then we have a goof up. But we've kind of figured it out. I usually just look to him, and I've said before, when I forget things, I'll say, well, that's about all I have to say about that, and I'll look at him, and that means, I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But hopefully, we've been doing it 11 years, and sometimes it just, I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
You've mentioned there have been times when audience members have maybe been offended.
There was a woman that left during, sometimes women get offended by barefoot and pregnant because they don't realize that it's, they don't, I mean, they see me up there with the 2 padded bras and the big hair and all the makeup, and I think they think, that I, little bimbo up there, whatever, I'm not sure, but she got, there have been women that have walked out during barefoot and pregnant, and I think if you just realize that is, we don't mean that, we
Yeah. They got to get that it's a joke.
Not always.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
I believe it.
You'd be surprised.
What is your audience attendance? I mean, what's the fluctuation there? 'Cause we experience heavy fluctuation.
We do too. We do too. We do too.
I bet, because I've been there when it's packed and when it's not as
Yeah,
packed.
yeah.
It never gets too low.
Well-
And does it kind of just break you down as a person?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't, and you shouldn't let it. You should give it. It should give you some kind of sick thrill. We did a convention. I'm serious. We did a convention for engineers, and they right before we came out to do this kind of off-color humor, they talked about in the organization. They're like, and let us stop and say a prayer for James so-and-so who died this year. He was a Sunday school teacher and blah, blah. And we looked at each other and was like, oh, shit. So we're going to have to go on after that. Well, it was that bad. I mean, it was a well-paid gig, but I felt so sorry for the woman that hired us because we got out there. They didn't get it, or either they were angry at us. I'm not sure, just because, we came out after that sadness.
Yeah.
But I was up there enjoying it. It's kind of like this sick. When
Yes,
Stephen
yes.
what did Stephen Colbert
at the
do?
White House.
Yeah, at the White House.
Yeah.
How that there's I think of him sometimes and like that kind of joy he probably gets in doing.
But again, we're talking about crowd. You had a big crowd. He had a big crowd. We're talking like mom and dad.
Yeah. Well, no, it's never been. We've done the show for 12 people before. We did that in Australia. We did the show in Australia, actually. They have a big country music festival that's like ours. It's the second largest, and so we performed for them. But they didn't know who we were. So when we came out there to them, we're just bad country, and all the dialogue. It got better as they realized, oh, it's a joke. But all the dialogue they thought was just us talking. They didn't know it was scripted. So all the wacky things that were happening, they didn't really get until maybe towards the end when the hair comes out. That
Oh, it's a joke. Turns out it's a joke.
Yeah.
He's the accent guy.
We need to wrap up soon, but we have had a couple painful moments that you kind of embrace.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one of them. We had a show. Ben had to come in like really late, so we all set up without Ben, and our guest that evening, our sex therapist.
Oh wow!
And
I hadn't seen
a
that.
pumpkin carver it was around Halloween, and his website was Carvings for Jesus. So I'm backstage with the sex therapist and the Jesus carver, and I'm trying to balance that situation there. Not a lot of people came to that show.
Oh, man.
And
I
Ben,
would have.
Ben comes in late, and he says, "Morey, I'm exhausted." And I was like, "Well, this show is gonna suck. Like, screw this." And we go out there, and the opening is rough. And we sit down here, and the sex therapist, this made the whole show, but he said, "All right, I've got a quiz for you guys." We said, "Okay." And he pulls out these cards. First card is, where's the G-spot? He asks us that, and I'm going, "Oh my God, don't do this right now."
And I didn't know.
And we sweat through that whole thing. It was like a 12-minute quiz, but it ended up being funny and made the whole show. So it was painful, but we embraced it.
No wonder you're fidgety with your hands.
He's still looking for it.
All right, we got to get out of here. You've got, all right, so the Doyle and Debbie Show is Tuesdays?
We've got one most Tuesdays, but you can check the station in calendar or our website. But we are this next Tuesday. We've got one, 7 o'clock. You're out by 8:30.
And you have you didn't want to bring it up, but bring it up. You're doing a dance thing.
I'm in a dance performance, May 13th. It's the Dancer Project, but I'm not I am a dancer, but I'm not a dancer. But the other dancers are amazing, so I could say that if you wanted to check out the Dancer Project, it's my good friend. Did any of you see Giselle when they did it in the park here? Anybody? Anyway, she was Giselle. She's a professional ballerina. She's amazing. So I would say, if nothing else, maybe check out her site. She's a incredible woman starting up a new thing.
No, we'll be coming for you, Jenny.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Jenny Littleton, everybody.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna get lambs.
Guys, we're in for a treat with this next one. It gets a little hands-on. We have a lot of lambs in the building right now.
He'll bring you a modest flock from Nashville Chew Crew. Let's give it up for Zach Richardson.
Woo!
Oh boy!
Cheers.
Oh, my bad.
There you go.
Take a seat.
Good job,
man,
guys.
these-
Thanks for playing.
Zach, I'm told these things will, on occasion, use the restroom.
On occasion, keep the business end pointed toward Ben.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, I
they-
can't blame
I'll-
them for not wanting to go to these bathrooms.
I'll say right off the bat, they smell like farm animals.
They do. They're genuine farm animals.
This is great. We're going to ignore you for a second.
Yeah. Take your time.
He doesn't. Why not me?
So there's a couple other lambs crowd surfing. So if you find a lamb next to you, hold on to it.
Have they been
enjoy it.
brought? All right, yeah, pass them around.
They're somewhere.
I held one for about 20 seconds outside. I got poop on my hand, so just be warned. Zach, thank you for being here.
You bet,
you
man.
so
Thank you
much.
for having me.
So how did you?
Excuse me.
Stomach problems.
How did you get into urban shepherding?
I studied landscape architecture in school and then did this extracurricularly with some friends just to pick up our landscaping slack in the backyard.
This is bizarre.
Then it was, you get on Craigslist, buy a lamb, it's a slippery slope, and then here we are today.
How much for your first lamb or two?
I started out with goats, and
Goats,
then
that's right, okay.
I've made the transition into the sheep world. But back then, 7, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, you could get on Craigslist and buy any of these for like $50, $75, but the price has
Really?
gone up. Yeah.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
the current price?
It's crazy. It's like $200 for one of these guys. It's nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is this a calm down? Is this there's an echo in here. Is this a certain breed?
It is. So these are Katahdin and Dorper. Both are by the end of today, you guys are going to like go home and be shepherds. I'm going to try to tell you as much as possible, as quickly as possible. They're both hair sheep. Excuse me. Probably my chin.
I think they're chewing on my microphone.
They're both hair sheep versus a wool sheep. So your wool sheep are like your archetypal big fluffy sheep that you shear every year. These are bred in a more temperate climate, so they shed their coats every summer. So I don't have to do that. So
Wait,
it's easier on them.
shed?
They do. You'll be covered in hair.
I'm allergic.
Oh, good.
He'll be okay.
Should have said something. Hey guys, by the way, I just want to point out there's like a little thing hanging from their. Oh wow.
Stomach?
Just got to second base. There's like a little thing hanging from their stomach. That's not like a piece of straw. That's an umbilical cord.
They're
right?
fresh. Yeah, you're right. These were
so
born
don't-
on Monday.
Don't pull it.
Yeah.
These are born on Monday?
They were born on Monday.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
That day we had 13 lambs born. We had another set of twins born this morning. So the floodgates have opened. It's all happening. Yeah.
Some people come on our show and they say, "Were you born Monday?" But these guys
They
were.
So you were earlier talking about ewes and lambs. There's
Yes.
one more that you might find useful. A ram is a male, you know that, but a castrated male is called a wether, and that's where the term bellwether comes from, because those are typically the ones you keep with your females, put a bell on them, and they kind of protect and lead the herd, so that's where the phrase
won't
bellwether
so
comes
they
from.
won't impregnate them.
Exactly, and that's a big deal.
Friend-zoned.
Friend-zoned,
Yes.
permanently, yeah.
Permanently friend zone.
Describe for us a typical day for you.
Just a lot of checking on animals, making sure everybody's fed, fat, and happy. Like today with the weather, things are a little more hectic. You got to kind of rush. But if it's smooth, I don't have to do anything crazy. Just a lot of moving sheep.
Do you have jobs lined up?
For sure. Beginning this weekend, we'll be on Metro property on the Greenway. I haven't seen this many people in a while. I'm usually just talking animals. This is unnerving.
Well, we're happy for you.
Yeah,
You're doing great so far.
It's good practice.
There's 3 of us and 60 of you
Yeah.
is what we say. So not 60 yous, but 60
I'll
of you.
pretend like they're sheep.
I've been
It'll be
trying to
easier.
fit that one in.
So my business partner, Dougie, who you saw in the video there, he's in the truck right now. It goes everywhere I do. But if something were to happen, like if someone were to open the trailer and sheep headed toward the Parthenon, he's the guy, he's the dog that I would use to round them all up. He's like an insurance policy. He's like the $1 million tool. But I also have other dogs that stay with the flock. Dougie rides with me, and the other dogs are livestock guardian dogs, and they're like 24-hour security guards. They keep coyotes or dogs or mischievous teenagers, whatever it may be. They keep them on the other side of the fence. Seeing these lambs
And
flying around, this is awesome.
So let me ask you. I mean, have you always had an affinity for animals? Because I knew you in high school.
Mm-hmm.
You seemed, you talked to humans.
Back then,
I think
yeah.
you played baseball.
Soccer.
Soccer. That's right.
Yep.
Okay. When did you transition to animals?
In college. In college I did. After I left. Before I went to college, I had never been this close to a lamb before. And now I'm... and yeah, somewhere in college I realized that I could make this a profession, being an urban shepherd. And it's still kind of odd to say that out loud. But
Now, are you? There are probably other urban shepherds in the Middle Tennessee area.
Yes,
is that
that
right?
was my
there's another guy. When I was thinking about moving back here, I saw another one that opened up, and you guys should use them as well. They're called the Goat Guys, and they use a little bit more. They use a little bit more goats. I'm only sheep.
I will say boo too, but also we hadn't heard back from you in a while, so I did reach out to them.
Did you?
Good. Yeah.
Well, no, you're a little hard to get in touch with because do you have your phone on you? Shit.
I do, but it's beneath my
Don't worry
microphone.
about it. It's a flip phone, everybody.
Yeah, fits
So
the
yeah.
shepherd uniform.
Talk about farm animal.
Now, Zach, let me ask you, for the people in the audience, if they wanted to utilize your services,
Sure.
How small to how big?
Could be any size. We've gone on backyards and side yards, and we've done several acres at a time on public properties. It could be a lawn, it could be a cemetery, it could be a public park, greenway. Anybody that has overgrown property, that's a candidate for grazing.
So if let's hypothetically, I've got an acre lot that's pretty overgrown. What does that cost me? I'm sure it depends.
It always depends, and I always wait to look at a site before I give an estimate.
Right.
But you know, it kind of depends on what the client wants. If it was like a metro property, they're interested in getting the job. Bless you. Getting the job done quickly. But if it was like your house with Ben and your other roommate,
Thank you.
you're welcome. They, you know, you could have less sheep and it would last longer. You know what I mean? So I could bring 50 sheep to your house and be done in an afternoon, or it could bring like 15, 20 and let it ride out over the weekend.
And you'd bring them there each day?
No, they stay overnight. That's what the livestock guardian dogs are for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on the job 24/7.
Wow. Do chicks like this stuff?
No, you would think, but no, I don't think so.
I think it'd be so cool to be like, oh, we gotta go back to my house, and they're like, oh, they're the old ewes. But,
you again.
Yeah, but they don't like that. Let me ask you, how do you feel about kudzu?
Kudzu?
Exactly,
Excuse me.
kudzu.
Yeah, kudzu.
How do you feel about kudzu?
I hate kudzu, but good news is sheep love kudzu.
They love it. See, I kind of like.
You like kudzu?
Yeah, I think it's pretty kind of photogenic.
Yeah, we're not gonna get along.
It's an invasive species.
It is. It's big time. Where I came from in Georgia, it's a really big problem. But here in Middle Tennessee, it's not too bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not, you know, taking over houses like it is down there.
What's enemy number one?
Around here?
Yeah.
There's several, but privet. Everybody's familiar with privet. Honeysuckle is pretty bad here. Euonymus is another one that is not anywhere else that I've been. We could talk about plants all day, but
well,
you know,
clarify for me. Honeysuckle, I think of it as a big tree.
Well, it's more the shrubby one. There's a vine, Japanese honeysuckle, and then there's the shrub, amber honeysuckle or bush honeysuckle, and both are a problem. So keep an eye out for those. Sheep love them both.
When will these guys start working for you?
Right now, I've got a maternity ward kind of set up where the fresh babies are hanging out with mom, but pretty soon they're going to be twice that size. Like in 2 weeks, you're not going to recognize them, and they'll be ready for work. They won't be eating as much, but they can accompany mom, because you wean them at about 3 months of age.
He's peeing on the couch.
Is he
No,
really?
he's not.
Yeah.
Almost done.
Everybody's passing their lambs off in the audience now. Like, get this thing off. It's a ticking time bomb.
This couch is such a piece of shit. I didn't think it'd get worse, but a lamb is peeing on it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we
Still going?
Yeah.
You really hydrate these fellas, huh?
I think we really got.
Put him on the ground. Put him on the ground. Yeah, it's too late now. Let's wait.
I'm sorry. It was starting to leak over to me. And the couch can only absorb so much.
Immediately
Well, Zach,
That was a quart of urine.
Zach, I was gonna say it's good that you're bringing jobs back to America, but
It's funny you say that. I've got a T-shirt. I wanted to wear it tonight. It's on production. On the back, it's going to say, "Make America Graze Again."
That's great. Hey, we're about out of time. Not bad. Zach, where can they find you? How can they get in touch with you? You got a flip phone?
NashvilleChewCrew.com. There is a Facebook page. You can find me there, or just talk to me after the show.
If you haven't touched, I guess we'll be around for a second. Band, well, I'm giving this off to you. So, Zach Richardson,
everybody.
Guys.
And his lambs.
And some lambs. Thanks, man. Glad you could. I'm sorry about the. Lambs out here. Yeah, if you want to just follow me, if you've got a lamb, we'll take him back to the trailer.
Oh, shoot.
And I think that's about it. Thanks for coming out, everybody. We've got 12 shows this season, and we'll be back next week.
Thanks, man. Give it to you.
Jenny, you enjoying the shoot? Awesome. Oh, okay.